Baseball's winning streak continues.
Softball picks up 2 wins at home over the weekend.
Men's and women's tennis compete in the CAA tournament, so stay tuned because I'm Will Oakes.
And I'm Miranda Fabian.
And Seahawk Central Sports starts right now.
UNCW baseball swept Hofstra over the weekend to extend their winning streak to 7 games. They look to continue their good play next week against Elon and Coastal Carolina.
UNCW softball won 2 out of a 3-game series with Towson over the weekend. The Seahawks will be playing on the road for the rest of their season. They will look to improve their record from 17-22 against North Carolina A&T, Charleston, and Elon.
Men's tennis lost to College of Charleston in the CAA Men's Tennis Championship. After defeating Delaware in the first round, they came just shy with a 3-4 loss. It was still a great season for the Seahawks.
Women's tennis was swept by James Madison in the first round of the CAA Women's Tennis Championships. They put together a solid run at the end of the season, but came up just short. They look to bounce back in the 2016 season.
The Teal TV writing team didn't live up to the hype and were defeated by the club Quidditch team. We have Teal TV captain Sean Hennessy to answer a few questions about the loss. I'm Miranda Fabian, out here with Sean Hennessy, here to have a little interview about the Quidditch match that they so-called played the other day. So Sean, your writing team kind of lost the match before it even began. Care to expand on that a little?
Yeah, we did, and I wish it was like a metaphorical, loss before we played, but we literally had a forfeit before we played, and the Quidditch team is forcing me to say this. Unfortunately, I was going to claim that we beat them, but we forfeited because half my writing team showed up and we didn't have enough players to play, so our team was a bit impure. We had to borrow like 2 members of the Quidditch team, and and then they demolished us afterwards.
So the confidence that you had going into it, that you were going to beat the Quidditch team at their own game, how does it feel knowing that you didn't even have enough players to have a fair match?
About 60% of me talking trash beforehand was actually me. 40% was imagination, sass, and being a jerk. But I have no excuse. I'm supposed to be the leader, and we literally did not show up to this game.
So you did still end up playing, though, right?
We did, yes. We scored 1 point.
So who scored that point? Would you say that they were the MVP?
I actually scored that point. I would say literally anybody on the other team is the MVP.
But what about your team? Would you say anyone on your team did well at all?
If I had to narrow it down, I would give the MVP of the game to Sophia Naren because I used her as a human shield to score the only goal we had. So hats off to Sophia. Thanks for letting me use you like that. And yeah, I scored.
So the wound's probably still a little bit fresh, but do we foresee any rematches in the future?
I picked my writers this year to funny people, but they're kind of geeky and stuff. But I think if next year I'm gonna have to interview a lot of jocks and hopefully corral them into the writing team, and maybe we can make it a show next year against the Quidditch team.
Well, there you go. The writing team is not very athletic this year, but maybe next year they will be. I'm Miranda Fabian, out here with Sean Hennessy.
Well, fans, UNCW baseball is officially ranked. I had a chance to sit down with Sonia, Tyler, and Jackson to discuss what's going on around the league.
I'm here with Will, Tyler, and baseball expert Jackson Fuller. The UNCW men's baseball team is on fire this season with the best record in school history to this point. What do you think, Jackson, are some of the keys to the Seahawks' recent success?
Well, I think coming into the season, Coach Scaff really wanted to make sure that the bullpen this year was, a lot better than it was last year because they struggled at times last year. And I think the bullpen's been key this year. They've got about 6 relievers that he can rely on at any time to come in and pitch well in games, and it's just been, a huge asset to the team thus far this season.
I think having Jordan Ramsey in the back of the bullpen as our closer. He's 3-1 right now with 7 saves. Absolutely incredible work he's doing off the mound. It's really impressive to see what they're doing, and also their clutch hitting. They've been scoring a lot of runs in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, and that's really impressive, and it's really carrying this team.
I have to go with the hitting of Casey Golden. This weekend he was 6 of 15, 400 batting average. He had a home run that was really important to the win, so I'd have to say his play as of recently. And as we talked about a little bit, their hitting at the end of innings to win games has been very clutch.
So what other freshmen out of the bullpen do you think have been shining for UNCW this season?
Well, it's interesting because coming into the year, like Will mentioned, Jordan Ramsey, he was supposed to be their workhorse, and they had a couple other guys, but they really didn't know just the quality that they were going to get out of the bullpen from some freshman relievers. Austin Magestro specifically, he came in a lot of big spots early in the year to gain the coach's trust, and then they have a lefty named Whitman Barnes, and that was going to be one of the question marks was, did they have a lefty reliever who could come out of the bullpen and get lefty hitters out? And Whitman's really done a fine job this year. His ERA is just above 2. I think he's only has 1 loss on the season. He's done a really good job out of the bullpen this year.
So we have some important games coming up down the road. What teams are the Seahawks going to play?
Well, they're going to play a lot of teams that have been ranked at some point during the season upcoming. They're going to travel down to Chapel Hill a little bit later in the year after hosting on Wednesday. And then this weekend they're actually traveling to Elon, who is a newcomer in the CAA and a conference rival. And that's a big series because, UNCW and the College of Charleston, they're kind of the top 2 teams in the conference. But Elon's probably the 3rd best team, and it's key that when you go play Elon, you have to pick up those wins because, Charleston and the other teams, it's going to be big time if they can go down to Elon and win some of those games. Some other teams that they're going to play are Coastal Carolina and Campbell, teams that have been ranked earlier in the year. They might not be ranked now, but it's quality competition coming down the road for UNCW.
Growing up around the Greensboro, Burlington, Elon area, I know playing at Elon is no easy task, and their coach will really have them ready to rock and roll and play. So that's definitely going to be a tough opponent down the road.
For sure.
Anytime you have Carolina on the schedule, it's going to be a big game. So Carolina's going to be huge. And then, as you discussed, College of Charleston is the one team that's kind of been playing neck and neck with us for most part of the season. So that series against them will be a big determination of who wins the CAA.
Yeah, and Carolina, it's going to be interesting because, throughout the history of that rivalry, UNCW has been the underdog always. But this season, Carolina's not ranked right now, and the Seahawks are. So it's going to be a little interesting dynamic if, UNCW comes in as the favorite.
How can they play as the favorites?
Yeah, definitely.
That's exciting.
So what do you guys think the chances are of the Seahawks making the national tournament at the end of the year?
They're great. They're going to make the tournament regardless, whether they win the CAA or they get an at-large bid. I think with how they've played so far, they're going to make the tournament. It's just going to be a matter of what seed they're going to be.
I think one thing that's undeniable is there's a certain spark around campus about this team and the community. It's so exciting to see the big fan turnout coming out to the games every single day.
Absolutely. I mean, as of right now, they're 28-8. I mean, that's a fantastic record, and regardless, they're going to be in the tournament, I think, unless there's an epic collapse, which I don't see happening.
Thank you so much, Jackson, for coming out and spending some time with us. We really appreciate it. Hope to have you back in the studio sometime soon.
Thanks, Will.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for tuning in. As always, I'm Miranda Fabian.
And I'm Will Oakes, and for the last time, win, lose, or draw, it's always a great day to be a Seahawk. As some of you may know, I'm graduating in May. This is my last segment I ever get to do with Seahawk Central Sports, and it has been just an absolute awesome experience. I came in a year ago, tried out, didn't even know how to read a teleprompter, and I hope that I've somewhat improved over this past year. Thank everybody so much who's given me these opportunities. I want to give a big thank you to my team. Miranda, you're so awesome, you're so beautiful, you're so talented. You've turned into like a sister to me, and I'm really looking forward to see what you do in the future. This girl's gonna be famous one day. Kevin, our producer, Taylor, who's always bossing me around. Thank you guys so much for giving me these opportunities, and to everybody who works on the crew, edits all this stuff, makes us look really good on camera. Thank you guys so much. Y'all are the real MVP. I want to thank my family, and I want to thank my boys in the Moon Tower. You guys are the best. I'm still going to be in Wilmington, so I hope to see you guys around soon. Remember, win, lose, or draw, it's always a great day to be a Seahawk.